It's your boy Triple Black, aka the #1 stunner, aka the boss, aka we in the manor eating griot and drinking Malta. How you love that? Anyways, man, this is part 2 of the Matt Paul interview, man. We had to cut it short last time, but we back in the building, and I'm still surrounded by green, man. So I guess I ain't triple black, that much triple black. Anyways, man, what's up, coach, man? Congratulations on the win yesterday, man. That's perfect timing, man, because we talked about that. You know, your old coach, man. Talk about it, man. How was it, though, to win that game yesterday?
Man, it was, first of all, I'm gonna give a shout out to my team. My boys, they over here working hard, they grinding. I'm trying to get them to play harder than any other team around here. So we play a fun style of basketball. It was a great environment, great high school game. It reminds me of when we were in high school because of the crowd. It was loud, and the game was entertaining. It was up and down, and great drama. Up, back and forth, and we was tied with 12 seconds to go, and called a timeout, ran a play, and the guys executed, and our senior that played hit a 3. He hit a 3 with 2 seconds to go. So shout out to Paul Costain for hitting a big shot.
Yeah. Hey, hey man,
game.
but that was awesome, man. That's awesome. You know, you're an old man now, man. You're an old man now.
Man, I am, man. I'm old, but I'm young.
Hey, talk about it, man. Talk about it. How hard is it, man, to deal with millennials, man? Because the reason I asked that question, like you being a basketball coach,
right,
you need full attention.
Right.
Your average player right now could be on his iPhone with his headphones in, listening to music, and also be on Facebook. How do you get through to those types?
You know what? It's interesting, man. Kids, they need structure, and kids are gonna be defiant, and they're gonna test you. So you gotta hold them accountable. So from day one, we give them our parameters and our guidelines and rules, and here's our expectations, and they buy in. And when they go outside those guidelines, parameters, then you gotta bring down the hammer. So for me right now, they run a lot. We run 16. They don't like to run all the extra running, so that gets their attention pretty quickly. When we're working. But I like to have a good time with them as well, and they know that. So again, it keeps me young. And I'm a big kid at heart, and I work with kids anyways, and it's a passion of mine. So it's not as difficult, but they definitely have a different mindset than what we did growing up.
Oh,
they're a microwave society right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, if they want to find out something, they Google it.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, you can't Google your game.
Right.
You can't Google, I want to play basketball, let me Google it.
Yeah.
Don't work like that. You got to put in the work.
Well, it's a nice trend, I think. A lot of people are resistant to it, especially what's going on in Collier County, in particular lately. That was unprecedented. You got 2 very young coaches, and they're having some success, which is, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I would never ever think that this trend would be going where you have all these young coaches, in their late 20s, early 30s. Usually the coaches are, in their 50s and 60s.
Right.
What do you think about that, man?
You know what? Naples is an old school city, man. County. Collier County is an old school county. The people that's been here for a long time. And after moving away to Colorado and coming back here, I realized people stay in jobs here for 15, 20 plus years versus in Denver, you might stay, it's hard in a bigger city to find someone being in a job for 20 years, or 30 years, or 40 years. But that's what Naples is. Naples is an old school way of doing business. A lot of people like to shake your hands and see you and talk to you to do business. And that's just how Collier County rolls, and I'm learning that coming back as an adult.
Hey, speaking of Denver, were you the only Haitian in the whole state of Colorado?
Man, you guys will be surprised. Being in Denver while I was in college, I didn't necessarily go outside. I didn't deviate from the campus a whole lot my first couple of years. But as I got older and I can get around and move around into the city, I met quite a bit of Haitian. There's a nice Haitian community there, and I grew up within that community with them. And just like you, working at Chase and doing my thing there and working with kids, I knew a lot of the Haitians.
Were you guys eating fried buffalo or something and plantain?
No, we don't do that, man. Hey, it's a nice community in Denver. We get together, break bread, have some goat, cabrit.
Yeah.
Have some goat, have some butter and grill, all that stuff, man. So the ladies out there are pretty good. With one thing, shout out to my boy Silvio in Denver. That's my road dog. We used to roll together. He cooks. He's Mako clan. That's how the Haitians call it. So we both go Mako clans. We used to cook, and if he cooked, I go eat at his house. And if I cooked, he came and ate at my house. So we kind of went back and forth and did that. So we didn't miss out on the Haitian food. So
you guys looked out for each other.
Bit.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, but the last interview, man, we were getting into a real interesting conversation, and what I meant to, we're gonna get back into it, man. Through your experience at Lely, was there any regrets that you had?
No, man, I don't have any regrets. From a young age, I wanted to get a scholarship to go to college. I wanted to play basketball in college. That started when I was in Miami. I was probably in the 4th grade.
Yeah.
Got perfect attendance from Little River Elementary School, and I got 2 tickets to go see the Miami Heat. And that was their first year in over 26 years ago.
So you're a Roddy Cycli fan?
So my older brother Lo and I went to the game, and my uncle who was staying with at that time, he wouldn't even come get us because he said, I didn't send you, so you find your way back. So we was walking through Overtown and going to catch the bus to go back home in Little Haiti, man. So ever since then, I got to play. So it was Ronnie Cycli versus Patrick Ewing. So that's how much of a Heat fan that I am. That's how I got into the game of basketball, and we here now.
You remember Glenn Rice?
G Money, Steve Smith, Slicky Smith, and I got a good trivia for everybody out there. If anybody tell you they're a Heat fan and they don't know the Heat theme song, cut them off. They lying.
I don't know. I don't even know.
You don't even know? Are you a true Heat fan, or are you a LeBron Heat fan?
No, I was a Dwayne Wade Heat fan and a Lonzo Mourning Heat fan.
Okay, well, I ain't going to cut you off.
Yeah.
I ain't going to cut you off.
Man. But anyways, man, the reason I asked that question, because when we were ending the last conversation, you said that, because I asked you a question like, why not Indiana? And you said they were recruiting you for mostly football, and you said most of your offers that you got coming out of high school was football.
Yeah, I got a lot of interest from football.
Yeah. Did you have any regrets on that?
You know what? Like, you can't never look back at what you did. And again, I just look at Coach Swanson, who's helping out at Naples High now. He used to always tell me this: if you put half the time into football that you put into basketball, you'll be a great player. And I had a nice arm, and I was pretty mobile. But hey, I remember playing Eddie Mockley my junior year, playing quarterback, and my center was Joe Canzaro. He actually lives in Denver now, and he was 165 pounds. That was my center, and we played Eddie Mockley, and we was running a run and shoot offense, and I missed the blitz, and I got hit on the blind side. I didn't see him. I missed him, so he laid me out.
So this is way before concussion protocol.
Yeah, this is way before that. That's when I was like, heck no, I'm playing basketball.
Oh.
I just remember hearing Swanson saying, "Get up, come on." Get up." And I was like, man, I'm not trying to get up right now. I couldn't even breathe. I thought I was gonna die.
Did you play the rest of the game though?
I did play the rest of the game,
Yeah.
but it just taught me not to misread the blitz.
Do you remember if you won or lost?
We lost. I wasn't that bad. I remember what was going on. I just got the wind knocked out of me.
Yeah.
But that was the hardest I've been hit up until that point.
So who was besides Indiana? Who were your major recruiters? Were they trying to get you to switch positions or?
They liked me playing quarterback.
Yeah.
I know we had spring games. Miami came to our spring game to watch me play. I could throw the ball flat foot 50 yards.
Yeah.
And as I finished college, we played competitive flag football because I love the game. And I could still read what's going on. And I could still throw the ball. And I'm an athlete. So I don't regret it because, man, who knows? If I went to college and played football, I probably can't walk right now.
Right.
But I like the path that I took. I went to Denver. We got to play basketball. And the differences between playing college ball and playing college football, college basketball versus college football. When we go on the road for basketball, we go the day before the game, and we stay after the game and leave out the next day. Football, you go to a city wherever you play, you get there the night before, you in meetings, you can't do nothing, and then after the game, you right back on the plane, you out back home. So it was good. I liked it because I got to travel to a lot of cities, and it kind of shaped my personal life as an adult because I love traveling, and I travel to this day, and it's what I grew up knowing from playing basketball. So
right.
I don't regret it at all, man.
Yeah.
Not at all. I love the game of football, but I love that I can still walk around and I'm not hurt. So.
Well, you chose Denver. What did it come down to? Why Denver?
I went to Denver for my visit, and I remember flying into Colorado Springs, which is about 45 minutes south of Denver. And the coaches picked me up, and shout out to my boy Norman Daniels, who I went to visit with at the University of Denver, and he went to Miami Northern.
Yeah.
And we went to visit on the same trip. Norman now lives in Dallas. Like a brother to me. We still talk to this day. But we went on a visit together, and we just created a bond, and we're still friends to this day. So the city is a beautiful city. It's nothing that everybody thinks it is. I remember my brothers telling me, "Oh, Rocky Mountain High, man, you gonna freeze your butt off." and granted, Denver is cold, but it's not as bad as most places. You would be surprised with the weather. So I love Denver. I love all my people out in Denver. I have another family there, so I love it, man. I'll always go back.
Man, you coming from South Florida, you must have got the Jesus Shutterworth treatment when you hit the campus. Because South Florida versus there, come on, man.
Hey, man, the University of Denver is a private school, and thank God for being able to shoot hoops. Because my education cost me over $300,000, and I didn't have to pay for it.
Wow.
So it was like 9,000 students, so very expensive, about $45,000-$50,000 a year, and there wasn't a lot of black students on campus. Most of us were basketball players. So it was quite an experience, but the biggest experience I'd say out of all of it, talking of snow and being cold, the first time I saw snow was the first scrimmage we were supposed to have. The first week of basketball practice, we were supposed to have a scrimmage on that Sunday, and we had a blizzard, 27 inches of snow. So it was fun, and you like it's neat coming from Florida. First time you see snow, you like, how is this possible? It's just like ice flakes falling, and it's fun. You playing in it, the powder, but then after a day, you like, oh man, forget this. I'm over it already.
You know what's crazy? I had a similar experience, because Never ever been up north. I went to college in Kansas City. Shout out to my Avila people out there. But the first time that I saw snow was it was a snowstorm. Was it not a snowstorm, but it was an ice storm. There was snow.
Ooh, okay.
So it was the worst ever in the city. So I was like, it was like a dream because you hear all those transmitters just blowing up everywhere. You see trees collapsing because
Right.
you know they can't hold the ice on the
Right,
and then
it's heavy.
It's heavy, and I'm like, initiation, and it was fun. Like you know the like the first week or so, but after you know
You
we're
said,
heating up
I
the
traded
car.
the hurricane in.
Yeah,
Huh?
heating up the car, having to, you know, sometimes you might come outside and your whole car is full of ice.
Right.
You know,
So you prefer the hurricane?
I would get blown down by a hurricane any day.
All right.
You know, it only lasts for a couple.
Definitely the South Florida guy.
Yeah, it only lasts for a couple. You know, for a couple days or so. You know,
Right.
that snow is like. I always thought that the grocery store companies were in cahoots with the news because every time, like every snowstorm or any time it snows is supposed to be the worst ever.
Right.
And everybody would run to the grocery store.
Just like the hurricane.
Yeah, just like that.
Go
You know,
stock up on groceries, non-perishables.
yeah, you go. There's no bread. There's no milk. There's like
Right.
all the staples are just gone.
God, right.
Man.
Hey man, yeah, they probably are.
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah, man. So, man, talk about a little bit about your experience. You know, play. Did you play your first year?
man, I played. I had a great college career, man. I got to play. I started some games. I played a lot, and it was a blessing. I averaged playing at least 15 minutes every game.
Right.
There's only one game. I missed one game in college in 4 years, and I had a concussion. And I got a concussion, and I got screened, and I didn't see it, and I hit my head hit the court, and I had headaches. I got a concussion, and they made our team doctor made me sit out the next game. But other than that, I played every game that I ever played in. Last I checked, I was top 10 in 3-point shooting at our school still.
Yeah.
So had a great experience, man. And funny story, one of our teammates. It's funny to see him now. And again, my big shout out to Phil Heath, who's 5-time Mr. Olympia. He was my teammate in college from Seattle, Spokane, Washington. So you guys look at him. He's all on the big weightlifting magazine.
You talking about like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Olympia?
Mr. Olympia.
Wow, 5 times?
5 times currently.
Wow.
So look him up, Phil Heath. They call him the Gift. And dude, man, I was a year older than he was, and he was just naturally gifted with that, man. He was naturally yoked, and he never really lift weights until we got to college, and he fell in love with it, man. And he's doing his thing. I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome, man. Talk about. Did you have any memorable games? You know, what was the highest scoring game?
23. My freshman year.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the school. It was so many games. But I had a good freshman year, man, and I almost transferred, but I ended up staying in Denver. It was just far, homesick, and typical. But I'm glad I ended up staying, man, and I made great friends again. I had I would say the most memorable game I played was my sophomore year against Colorado. And I hit a 3 to go up by 2 with less than a minute to go. And we went up by 5, and we lost. We was up 5 with less than a minute, and we lost at Colorado. And after that, they took us off their schedule.
Wow. Did you guys ever get any chances to play any tournaments like NIT or anything like that?
No, we didn't. We always made a conference tournament, and geez, man, we lost in our conference tournament at the buzzer. From the top of the key, dude made a 3 off the backboard, and tough, man.
Let me ask you a question, man. Who got more hops right now, you or Kobe Bryant?
Hey, Kobe definitely got more hops than me. Actually, hey, he definitely does, because, man, you guys sleeping on Kobe. Kobe's one of my favorite players, and I say that because of his work ethic. That guy, man, he's a monster as far as work ethics.
Yeah.
And he's Jordan-esque with his work ethic. When you put in so much work into something, you expect to get the results. So a lot of people think he's arrogant, but if you put in that much work at what you do and you don't get the results that you was after, you're going to be upset. And so he definitely got more ups than me, because, man, he working out like a monster right now.
Yeah.
Even though he's not looking like he's good, but Kobe would take us to the shed right now.
Oh yeah, he would. He would. Hey man, so what did you graduate with, and what kind of degree did you graduate with?
I got a degree in general business and real estate.
Yeah.
I worked in the banking for a while, did real estate for a while, and then I went back to school and got my master's, and went to LA and worked for Gatorade doing marketing for a while, and I recently just came back here. But I have a gamut of experience. Been blessed with some wits, and I have an entrepreneur spirit in me, so I'm an outside the box thinker, so that's why I had to leave Chase.
Yeah. Hey man, hey, I'm worried. Don't call the boys in blue on me, okay?
Hey, no, not at all, man. Yeah,
anyways.
I had great experience there. I learned a lot there.
Yeah, so that's how you became a LA fan, a fan of Kobe being out there? Or?
I was an LA fan before Miami Heat was around.
Right.
Because growing up, all we saw on TV was the Heat and the Lakers. I mean, not the Heat, but the Lakers and the Celtics.
Yeah.
Or the Pistons. And I didn't like the Pistons because I thought they played dirty. And I didn't necessarily like the Celtics. I didn't like to say I wasn't a big fan of Larry Bird as a kid, because I always wanted Magic and Showtime to win. So they used to beat them all the time. That's what we saw. So growing up, you was either a Lakers fan or a Celtics fan, and I was a Lakers fan ever since I was a kid, because that's what I used to see. So yeah, man.
Yeah, I was a Lakers fan too because of Magic Johnson. That was like my favorite player.
Showtime.
Yeah, Showtime was.
Kareem. Yeah, so I wasn't a Celtics fan, but oh man, Larry Bird was man, and now that I'm coaching basketball, and in retrospect, looking at what he did with zero athleticism, but he was an assassin on the basketball court, because he did things that, I mean, like we say it, if you look at numbers right now, compare LeBron's numbers, statistics, points, rebounds, assists, and steals, you would be surprised where Larry Bird ranks with LeBron.
You're not implying, and I hope you're not implying, that Larry Bird was on the same level as LeBron.
Look at his statistics. Stats don't lie, they're stubborn.
Wow.
And LeBron is a phenomenal player. I mean, athleticism-wise, I mean, like, geez, he's 6'9", 260.
Yeah.
And Larry Bird I could be Larry Bird in a sprint right now when he was a pro. And I'm old now. But again, I say that to say he was slow. He wasn't the most athletically gifted guy. But mentally, man, he was sharp, and he got by.
You know we're in Celtics place right now, right?
We in
we
at St. Dunstan Celtics. We're the Celtics, but not the Boston Celtics, although we have the same color.
Hey man, but anyway, man, shout out to P Train, man. I gotta say something about P Train, man. P Train, Pat Street. He actually, was a basketball star here, and he donated a pretty big, large amount to St. John Newman. That scholarship that he co-founded. So shout out to the P Train for that.
P Train for sure. I'm hoping P Train hear this and he comes out on Friday night and support. I don't think he's seen us play yet, but we're trying to bring your Celtics back to prominence over here. So hopefully you come by and partake in the atmosphere on Friday.
Yeah, man. Hey, talk about your new coaching experiences. This is the first time you've been a coach. Just talk about that experience, man.
Man, I've been a coach for over 12 years. I coached in Denver for a long time before I came here, and people here don't know that about me. In Denver, I was big in the community. I love working with kids, and it's a passion, but more so than a passion, it's a gift. It's easy for me, and I relate to them. I have a great relationship with kids. And I remember my uncle growing up. I used to get in trouble all the time because I would always be playing around with the kids. And fast forward 20 years, my uncle's like, man, you're still the same. Ever since he was a kid, he was like a kid's magnet. And the kids always wanted to be around you, and you would play around with them. And I'm no different now.
Yeah.
So I've always loved kids, and again, I think it's a gift because it's easy for me. And I know the game of basketball. I love the game of basketball, and it's always been easy for me as well. So I try to pass the wisdom that I've learned playing basketball at the college level and having some success. I know what it takes to succeed. I know what you got to do. I know how much work you got to put into it. So if it's something that you want, I'm not going to force you to want it. But if you want it, I'm going to do my best to help you. And while you say that, a shout out to my little sister. We talk about the Paul boys. She's by far, I think she has the most potential out of all of us. Shout out to her because she signed her letter of intent a few weeks ago to play at the University of Georgia. And she had a lot of great offers, but she picked Georgia. And I look forward to her being an impact player and succeeding at that level. And I've had the pleasure of training her over the last 2 years and seeing her game mature. And I look at her game now. That was my gift to her. She don't know what she can do yet, but the game that I've developed over 15 years, I've given her, and I can see that. So I'm proud of her, and again, it'll be fun to see her play on Friday.
Yeah. Hey, I know I use a lot of hyperbole, when I'm talking to you. We live like in a world right now. If you big up somebody, oh, you're riding, or you're giving too much props to whatever, man. But I really, really, really think it's very, very important to make. The reason I use the hyperbole is to get people's attention.
Okay.
And these millennials, it's hard to get people's attention. That's why the only thing they watch is World Star Hip Hop. World Star Hip Hop. People are fighting because it's very dramatic.
Right.
I really, really think, and I love the job that you're doing with the kids and stuff like that to make them pay attention, because what you accomplish, to the average person may not seem like that much. Hey, he's not in the NBA or whatever, but given the circumstances that someone from your similar background, like my background, being in Haiti, that's all I have to say. It's a third world country.
Right.
And where you're at right now, you're a head basketball coach at a prominent high school. You have an MBA. You graduated from college. Sometimes graduating from high school is you've made it, but you graduated from from college twice, and you're in a prominent high school and as a head coach. When you put that into perspective, that's quite a bit of accomplishment. And give like the youth some advice right now, the youth that's listening on, what it feels like to get to some of those accomplishments that you have.
Man, I'm gonna give all the credit to my dad, man. My dad's a visionary, and myself, we born in Haiti and migrated here. And my dad, long before I was even born, he had a vision for us, and I didn't know about it. But everything with my dad started with education, and whatever we did, we had to get our grades, we had to get an education. So it started off from him, and that's all he wanted for us, my siblings and I. So even leaving off to school, perspective. And even in high school, playing sports, if we didn't have grades, we weren't playing, and not playing wasn't an option for us. So we were driven on that aspect. So to the point where now it's like for my younger siblings, we know, and even my nieces and nephews, they know the expectation. They have to go to high school, they have to go to college and get a degree, but most importantly now they know I gotta go to college and get a master's degree. So they're purposeful in everything that they do because they know all of us has gone through that channel where we've gotten our bachelors and getting graduate degrees, and that's what they know. That's the expectations that my dad and my uncles. That's what they've set for us.
Right.
So expectation wise, and the one thing he's always told us is like, people can take things away from you, but they can never take your mind away, because knowledge is power. And my dad's been in ministry for over 40 years, and every principle that he gives us are biblical, and they're truth for me. So without knowledge, you perish. Things that happens to you because you don't know, they happen to you because you don't know. So you got to read in order to know, and reading is part of it. It's fundamental education. So for kids out there, man, whatever you want to do,
Yeah.
it's out there for you, but I can't do it for you.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, I really appreciate, you know, what you do, you know, especially for the community, and you know, for the Haitian kids, and you know, I'm a human, and by human nature, you gravitate towards, you know, people that are like you.
Right.
And one thing, and I think it's important to do these type of things, especially with people in the community with the same type of background that you have, you know,
Right.
within the Haitian community. Because one thing that I see, you know, with being Haitian wasn't fashionable like 15, 20 years ago. And I hate that keep harping on that.
Right.
The reason I keep harping on it is I see like a lot of the Haitian youth losing that edge. When one thing that I appreciated about, you know, some Haitian athletes were we played with like a chip on our shoulder, something to prove.
Something to prove.
Right.
Right.
And now it's kind of fashionable, you know, to be Haitian.
Right.
And like, what would you say to, you know, I feel like it's very important to really, for these kids to understand this just wasn't that easy. We wasn't the preferred choice.
Right.
You know, we wasn't the preferred choice. You know, we were wearing Bobos. You know, you had the XJ9100s, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, HBO wasn't a movie channel. You know, it wasn't, you know, when it was raining cats and dogs, they were talking about us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Talk about that, man.
Hey, you know what? Here's what I think it is. I think for a lot of those kids, again, it's history. They're not rooted in their history. A lot of them don't know. I mean, a lot of them don't even speak Creole. And my dad always makes this joke. You find an Asian kid that say they're not Haitian, just say Creole, Bana, D. You'll find out who the Haitians are real quick. But in all seriousness, I just think it boils down to your roots. You got to be rooted in who you are and knowing who you are and what your roots mean. And I think for us as Haitians, we have such a beautiful and powerful history from our ancestors from the 1800s. Although we understand, liberty from 1804. Yeah, we understand we're the first black colony. But what does that really mean to you? How do you translate that into who you are today as you read the history? I think a lot of our kids don't know about that. They're starving for that knowledge. We just got to find a way to get it to them. That's part of it. And the other one is, right now, when we were growing up, we was hungry, like you said. A lot of the kids now, they want to be part of it, but they don't want to be the man. And even coaching now, they want to be part of the team, but they don't want to be the man because they don't want to put in the work. It's not cool to put in the work. It's just when the lights come on, they want to be the man. And the game doesn't work like that. Like, I'm kind of old school in that way. I used to leave basketball practice, go to Santa Barbara, go to Avalon, and play. So I would run home after practice, I'd eat some ziti, go straight to the park. And that's kind of how I grew up. And I remember Coach Stewart used to beg me not to go to the park to play after practice. But that's kind of how I grew up because I was driven. I wanted to be good. I wanted to be the man. And we played to win, not only to win, but we wanted to be bragging rights. And these kids now, they don't want to outdo each other. You my homeboy, we gonna go head to head and compete. We're not friends on the court. We're competing. We're competitors. After the game, what's up? Let's go hang out, whatever. But the kids nowadays, they don't want to make their buddies look bad. But if I can score 50 on you, I'm scoring 50. I'll apologize later.
So you're saying that the kids are soft now? A little softer?
Mentally.
Yeah.
They don't want to outdo, they don't want to make their friends look bad. And
you're bullying me.
Not competitive enough. I'm sorry, everybody didn't get a trophy.
The participation award.
Shout out to Harrison from Pittsburgh for getting rid of his kid's trophy.
Yeah, man. That is true, man. It's
that's really it.
You're ostracized, for being a Michael Jordan. You're ostracized for being Kobe Bryant.
Right.
You're ostracized, LeBron. You're congratulated for winning two championships, and you're hated for winning 5. If you catch my drift.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? What it does, we as a society and community, we have to be cautious of that because, yes, we want everybody to learn, but everybody got to learn to lose because in life, everybody doesn't always win. So when you go out, I tell our kids here, like, hey, I speak to them in high school terms because, they're in the present. So I'm like, there's only one homecoming king, and there's only one homecoming queen.
Right.
Everybody else lost. So not everybody get that crown. Only one person gets that crown. And in the real world, it's only one job. There's a bunch of people interviewing and competing for that job. It's not like, hey, you didn't get the job, you came in the second place, but we're gonna give you that job anyways. It doesn't work like that. So gotta put it in perspective, and some of these kids don't get it yet, but you gotta speak it in the terms that they understand. So you gotta bring it down a little bit to where they are so that they can get that lesson. But
I think, one thing I think is like a lot of the youth are scared of criticism. They're scared of, everything. If you criticize somebody, you're a hater. It's like they're scared of being criticized, or people are scared to criticize people.
Well, that's part of being afraid of competition and afraid to fail.
Right.
Because, Michael Jordan said it. He failed a bunch of times. That's why he succeeds. Because, for every shot he didn't take, he wouldn't have known if he would have made them. So you gotta want to take the shot in order to be the hero.
Right.
You can't just sit on the sideline and expect to roll over and it just magically happens, which is kind of where we're going. I love sports because it teaches kids a lot of lessons. It teaches you how to go through adversities through a phase of a game and not real life, because you go through ups and downs and you have to learn how to channel your emotions and fight through the tough time and get over it. But when it's the real world, you married with kids and all those things, those situations are life situations. And if you don't know how to deal with adversity, well, it may have been from a game, sports, team sports, then you might go off and do something crazy that affects your life forever.
Yeah. Let's talk about like the Haitian test. I was going to give you the Haitian test, because we're going to wrap it up. But before you talk about your organization, man, I want to give you the Haitian test before I forget. Man.
Okay, let's do it.
All right,
I'm not sure what the Haitian test is.
Have you ever been Hilfiger down, or wore some church shoes, or with some high socks before?
Heck yeah. Yep. Boat.
The boat, like looking
Boat.
like a fresh off the boat.
Yeah, man. Boat. Hey, it's funny because it's kind of in you, man. We talked about roots earlier. I see my nephews do it sometimes, and they don't mean to.
The Tommy, you remember the Tommy shirts with the tag?
Yeah, man. I remember.
That was definitely a Haitian thing right there.
Yep, true guilty.
Yeah. Okay, man. Does your parents or anybody, your women in your family, watch a whole bunch of African movies?
You know what? I don't remember a whole lot of movies. I remember the Zizifa movies and things like that.
Yeah.
So I
No
guess
African movies?
I guess they're similar. They look the same. I guess, and a lot of African movies are in French, and you know, so yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How about cornflakes
With
and carnation?
Yes, cornflakes and carnation milk.
Well, you know what's crazy? The Haitian thing is every cereal is cornflakes.
Yeah.
Hey.
Total cornflakes.
Yeah.
Yo, I got you.
Yeah, it could be
man.
Rice Krispie cornflakes.
Cornflakes. Yo.
So you're scoring pretty good on the Haitian test right now, man. Hey, how about this, man? Do you know who Hulk Hogan from USA is?
Hulk Hogan, the Hulk.
WWF.
Hey, shout out to my uncle. He still watch WWF.
That's crazy. Hey,
Yeah, man.
how about Telemundo?
Yeah, my aunt watched El Mundo. She don't speak a lick of Spanish, but watch Telemundo.
That's some distinctly Haitian thing.
Yeah,
right?
man, that's funny. I don't. How do you understand that? You don't even speak Spanish.
Hey, how are you related to Jean, Marie, or Pierre?
Yeah, that's every Haitian name. Yes.
Yeah. So you scored like you truly
Yes.
Haitian, man.
Yeah,
You truly Haitian,
100%, man.
Yeah,
No doubt.
Yeah. No doubt.
No doubt,
The
100%.
XJ900s.
XJ900,
Oh,
first
man.
pair of basketball shoes from
Really?
Payless.
Did they clown you? You remember that song, Bobos? They
Hey.
cost $1.99.
Hey, I remember my cousin David used to draw pictures of his XJ900s like they was some Jordans. Shout out to David Paul in Atlanta.
Man, there's that's why I love the Haitian culture, man, because it's not like that we're dissing it. It's just
We embrace it.
we embrace it because
Yeah.
there's some really distinct things that not only funny, but I still do to this day.
And you know what? That's what I mean by like our roots, man. Our younger Haitians don't know about our culture.
Yeah.
They don't really know what all our roots from Haiti. They don't really understand that, and I challenge them to seek into that
Yeah,
because you understand why who you are.
right.
It's not by accident, man. It's rooted.
Well, there's certain things that when I found out about that actually brought me a sense of pride. Being in America sometimes, with you're Haitian, you don't have any. Sometimes you feel you don't have any purpose. But if you look at the history of America, like the Louisiana Purchase,
Hmm.
that America wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for the Louisiana Purchase. And how did the Louisiana Purchase happen? It was a slave revolt that forced Napoleon to sell.
Hmm.
So, those type of things, it's very important to know that things because it gives you a sense of pride.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
Like, the city of Chicago, found by a Haitian man. A lot of, kids don't know that, and that brings you a sense of pride. And why that's important, I mean...
It's inspirational.
Right.
And we talk about kids, man. Kids, what they see is what they revert to. So working in our community, I mean, like Naples is Naples, when you look at Naples, I didn't realize this growing up in Naples. Naples is one of the richest, probably top 5 richest cities in the country.
Right. It has the most
Per capita.
millionaires per capita.
Right, and what's interesting about that is that these people, a lot of wealthy people, but they only live here 4 years out of the month. They come to play during the wintertime. They escape the cold and come to the warmth, and all they do is they're partying. They're reliving college all over again. They got money, kids are grown, kids are out of school, and they just living college all over again.
Right.
So that's the demographics of Naples. But in reality, they really don't make our community because they're only here for a little bit of time. 3 to 4 months is hardly nothing. But when you look at Naples demographically, there's over 46,000 kids in Collier County schools. I didn't realize that.
Wow.
That's ridiculous.
That's a lot.
The most alarming, over 60% of those kids are like on free or reduced lunch, meaning that low-income families, there's a lot of poverty in Naples. And when you talk about Naples, people from outside of this area, like in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, all of those places, they're like, oh, Naples is rich. But in reality, Naples it's a tough city for young people to live in because there's not a lot of businesses here. Most people come here to retire, so it's more of a transportation. We don't really develop a lot of products here, so there's not a lot of warehouses where people are creating things to sell. So it's a tough environment for young professionals, and that makes the job market tough. So unless you're working in the hotels and doing retail jobs, there's not a lot of opportunities for you to make a decent living to be self-sustainable. And I'm learning that as I'm here, and we're working with our Bayshore Education Center. My dad founded that 12 years ago. And one of my motivations for coming back here was working with that and working with kids. And as an organization, working with kids, our vision is to use what we know as athletes, a family that excels in sports, to use to get an education. We're just using that to try to inspire the kids with a purpose. So we want to inspire them to be purposeful in their actions. So a lot of kids right now, they're lost. They don't have a vision. They don't know where they want to go. And again, you know, us Haitian growing up in a Haitian household, mom and dad is working 2 jobs.
Absolutely.
Or just mom is working 2 jobs trying to feed you and your siblings. And what we're missing out of that is the education piece. And growing up in a Haitian household, you know, your mom, you was gonna go to grandma's house while your mom went to work, and grandma's gonna give you some cornflakes and that kind of stuff. and then she's gonna sit you in front of the TV to watch wrestling or Telemundo.
Yeah.
that was daycare.
Yeah.
Or in our world, that was basically early childhood education.
Right.
Unfortunately, when you step outside of that and the kids get into school, they are behind in education, and everything that happens bad with our youths today is because they're behind in education. Imagine starting school behind in everything.
Right. So
that becomes frustrating for you.
Yeah.
And statistically, by the 3rd grade, if you're behind in reading, I mean, that's how we decide how many jail cells to build.
Absolutely. You know what? That's a very important point that you did bring up, because, and I hate to harp on the education part, but let's just take an example. When someone can't intellectualize or verbalize what they're trying to say, or they can't express themselves, they get frustrated.
Right.
And when you get frustrated, what do?
Get mad.
You get mad and you use physical violence to do. But a person that can actually express themselves intellectually handles situations much different.
Agreed.
So being educated a lot of times can take you out of a lot of situations that you don't need to be in. So us harping on education we're doing it with a purpose.
Yeah, it's
because
purposeful.
because have you ever dealt with someone that's uneducated versus somebody that's educated?
Yes, we see that all the time.
Right.
Arrogance comes into play.
Right. And the thing is those interactions, even though they can be contentious, with an educated person, they usually don't result in violence.
Right.
Because that person can express themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The person that's less educated can't express themselves. The only thing they can do is fight or shoot you.
Discernment, right?
Yeah.
Totally, man. And again, my dad, is such a visionary. He worked in the school boards for over 20 years. He's an intermediary for our community with the school board. So and it's so funny, man, coming back here, everybody knows my dad. Like, when I tell you, everyone knows Pastor Paul. And it's crazy because, it's not crazy, but I know my dad's heart. And my dad is just about people. He's about everybody being the best that they can possibly be. They don't care who you are, he just genuinely wants you to be at your best. And it's no different. That's what he created, that organization, and my siblings and I are running off with it. And it's his legacy, and that's why I'm more vested in it, because it's personal for me. But his vision is to inspire those kids with a purpose so that they can be self-sufficient. And we do that through a variety of different programs. We use athletics as a means. So to provide kids that are athletic. I remember when we was growing up, we was just gym rats. We was just pure athletic. What we have now available, what we can provide for these kids, if they're athletic, we can actually hone their talents and kind of guide them in the right direction. So if they do excel academically, education,
Right.
and they do have the athletic ability, we know so many people from our own walk, we can possibly get them in the door and get them a college education through playing sports. And it's worked for us, and we got our education. And again, regardless of what anybody say, they can call you names, they can say this or that, but they can't take your education away from you. So,
Absolutely not.
but again, to be purposeful, and now it's different. A lot of Haitian families, they know you have to go to school. The kids have to go to school, you have to go to college. But more than that now, it has to be more purposeful. I have to go to college with the purpose of getting a job in this particular field I like because I'm good at it or I enjoy it. And when I get out of school, high school, I'm going to this college to be this person because they have a great program. And when I get out, I'm going to get this type of job, which is going to pay me this type of money where I can actually live comfortably and be self-sufficient. So overall, that's the idea behind Bayshore Education Center. And we do a football skills camp with a group of NFL guys every April. We'll be doing, we're going to shift it this year to make it more of an NFL college combine. We're going to invite some college coaches to come down, look at the kids, and we're going to have the NFL guys run the combine. And we're doing it free for the kids. And again, the whole idea is to inspire them with a purpose of education. Let's get an education. You can be whoever you want to. Not all of us are going to be professional athletes, but we're going to be professionals at something. And everything you encounter through sports, the discipline, the hard work, the determination, the team, you're going to encounter them. You're going to run into it in a professional setting.
Hey, talk about how can somebody get involved with your organization or donate or volunteer.
You can volunteer. We have a Facebook page and we have a website, or you can call me at the office at 239-678-4546, or you can email at bayshoreedcenter.org. Our website is bayshoreedcenter.org. You can reach us out on there. But you can check out our Facebook as well. We have a lot of stuff on there. You can see everything we've done. But That's what we're trying to do, man. We're trying to give back to our community. We're trying to give back to Naples because that's where we're rooted from. We know there's 45,000 kids in Collier County schools.
Wow.
And
That's a very, very surprising statistic.
yeah,
Which,
and we don't think about it. We think retirement, but
right.
that's
Retirement,
45,000
yeah.
kids in our schools, and we have a lot of athletes here that are raw, and a lot of athletes that doesn't have the means to hone their talents.
Right.
And if we can help our kids in East Naples, our low-income kids, underserved communities, if we can help them to become functional members of society by using their gifts that God has given them, and to help them be more purposeful with a vision and a plan for how do I get a scholarship? What do I need to do? We're going to try to do our best to guide them and get them there.
Yeah, I'm glad you told me about that organization, because that kind of brings up memories for me, because that whole process, man. I wish I had somebody behind me, because I had to learn the hard way on
Right.
a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
There are some resources out there, but now there are a lot of resources. I had to kind of do everything myself, but
Right.
I think it's a beautiful thing that you're going to be somebody's advocate, helping them through the whole process. I think that it's very honorable. I like that.
Yeah, man. You know what? In all seriousness, we talk about sports, but again, it goes back to education. The biggest thing we do, and I challenge all you guys to step in and want to help. We run a kindergarten boot camp in the summer, and we do 2 weeks of camp. It's for those kids that are at grandma's house watching Telemundo for early child care education, so that we can get them to be up to par, so that when they start kindergarten, they're not starting behind. They're up to par with word sites and colors and all those pronunciation things. So they're up to par with the kids, and that's for those kids that are, pre-K 4, 5, that's getting ready for kindergarten. And then we have an entrepreneurs boot camp that we do, and we did that for 3 weeks this past summer for 50 kids, and it's pretty exciting, man. I get excited looking at and doing that, because there's so many adults that start businesses and have no clue. They just, I'm going to start this business. But behind a business, there's so many things that goes into it, and they don't consider that. So we had these kids go through an entrepreneur boot camp for 3 weeks, where they had to create a product. We gave them a budget. They had to create a product. They had to create a marketing plan, and they each had a responsibility, where they were CEO, the CFO, marketing director, and they all had to work together, and they had to create a product, and we took them to the farmer's market. They all had to sell the product and to see who comes out with profit. So there's so many lessons to be learned from that, and the assessment we had the kids do, the feedbacks that we got from them were pretty phenomenal. And those are seeds that we're planting in the kids, because it's purposeful in the fact that we want them to think outside the box. We just spoke about the fact that what we see in our environment is typically what we do. And for many of us, our parents are working in the hotels, retail jobs, and unless we know something other than that, that's what we're gonna do. And unfortunately, there's so many different things. We just need somebody to kind of guide us. Right. So by looking at these kids and seeing how their minds are running, if we can instill that entrepreneur spirit in them at that age, and we had second graders through ninth graders, and you would think the gap, the understanding level is different at each level, but the principles are being instilled in those second graders as it is with the ninth graders.
Absolutely. You know what? I'm in college. I wish somebody would have told me, when all those assignments that I did, just for a grade.
Right.
I wish I would have took them serious and developed the product. You know how many business classes you took,
right,
and they say, hey, you know what? Just do this project. Imagine if you would have had that entrepreneurial spirit
Yeah.
at that time.
That was my master's degree. I did that doing my MBA. I left out of there with 3 business plans.
Yeah.
And purposeful.
Yeah.
Purposeful. So again, like for these kids, we can kind of see where they are. I'm looking forward to it in the summer in July. We're gonna do it in July again, and I challenge all you guys out there that are professionals to get with me and give back, because you can come and volunteer. If you have a business where you producing product, it would be nice to bring the kids by for a field trip to see what you do, and they get an understanding of what that supply chain looks like. Because again, the earlier we can get their minds processing and thinking in that way, you never know what one of them can create. And who knows, we might find a product that we can really market for them.
Yeah. It just takes a dream, it takes a dream, man.
It takes a dream, and you got to be purposeful. Plant the seeds and water them and let them flourish.
Yeah, it's a good time for me to plug my business. But anybody out there, I don't care how small the dream is, contact me at johnsonmarseille at gmail.com. Send me an email or hit me up on Facebook. It's Marseille Marketing Solution, a full marketing suite. Just hit me up, and then I'll get you started. If you ever thought about starting a business and you wanted to know the A to Z part of that, how to formate your business, formation of your business, register it, marketing plan, business plan, I can help you with all that. But anyways, man, we about to wrap up this interview, man. Matt, it was great talking to you, man, and I'm glad that you came and did part 2, man. I know we had to, we had to get out the gym, and you had some team to beat, man. But
we pulled that one out too by 1 point.
But I'm glad that you invited me back to this green thing. Maybe I have some luck, the luck of the Irish or something.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. Thank you for having me. It was fun doing the interview. And we reminisced a little bit, but in all seriousness, on Friday we play community school, and it's going to be a unique atmosphere here. Tuesday night at FBA was pretty live, and Friday night is going to be pretty special in here, because I'm going to bring our kids from the Bayshore Education Center to come and watch the game. But most importantly, they all look up to my little sister. She's a senior at community school. They're ranked 23rd in the country. And they're going to come and watch their game, and then they're going to watch our game.
It's a conflict of interest, bro.
It's a conflict of interest, but it's not a conflict of interest.
Didn't you have a nephew that played at community school, too?
My little brother.
Oh, your little brother?
Yeah.
I thought it was a nephew.
No, that's my little brother.
Is he, how's he doing in Eastern Kentucky, right?
He's doing pretty good. He's playing football there. He was a redshirt freshman this year, and he was the second string player. And now it's a show. You got to put in the work. The guy in front of him was a senior, and he's got to stay hungry, man. Yeah. And he'll have great opportunities because he's an athlete.
Yeah.
But it's not a conflict of interest, because we're playing them, and I'm promoting Bayshore because that's what I'm all about. And we got to keep it in the fam. I got a big fam, and I got to support my family as well.
So you're gonna be rooting for a community school?
Man, I'm gonna be rooting for my sister to have a good game, and when we play, we're trying to beat the snot out of community school. That's just that competitor in me.
Yeah.
They're not gonna have any mercy on us, so we don't want to have any mercy on them. So it's a district game, and we're looking at it as a big district game, and it'd be nice to start off our district 2-0, because we beat FBA Tuesday night. If we beat these guys on Friday, we'll be 2-0 going into our district with 4 games left. So that's the mission, and it should be a rowdy and fun game, because, man, we like to play up and down, and I don't like to play that slow-paced game. So.
Yeah. Shout out to Mitch Woods, man. If I can get you on the show, man, then holla at your boy. Man, shout out to everybody out there, man. I think Matt might have opened up the door for me, man. If you know Comer, I've never met the guy before, but
yeah, I know Comer,
yeah,
man.
Holla at him, man. I'd like to get him on the show. Talk to him a little bit, man. If you know Fritz.
I know Fritz as well, man.
Yeah, man.
Those guys, man. I'm here at St. John Newman as part of the Celtics family, but you know I bleed that orange and black from day one.
Yeah.
I'm rooted there. So I'm emotionally attached, and I love those guys. They're doing a great job. They're great models for our kids, and most importantly, they've done it, and the kids respect them, and they hold them accountable, which is what they need. And they're not gonna get over on them, and they hold them accountable. You can't microwave it. It's sports. You keep that. You cannot microwave football, basketball. It takes a lot of work. You're not gonna wake up one day and Google yourself being a basketball player. It don't work like that.
It don't work like that at all.
So I'll definitely plug you in and get you connected with those guys, and would love to hear them on there, because Fritz is an energy guy, and Comer's not as energetic as Fritz, but he's fiery because he played at Wisconsin.
Yeah. I'd like to get him on the show, man. If you guys are listening, man, holler at me on Facebook, man. No Cupcake Zone. But, man, we out of here, man.
All right, thanks
again, man.
All right, God bless.
All right.